Jesus' secret meditation method that changed everything. What if I told you that hidden within the teachings of Jesus lies a meditation practice so powerful, it has the ability to transform your entire life? A practice that has been overlooked for centuries, yet holds the key to inner peace, spiritual awakening, and a direct connection with the divine. Today, we're going to explore what I call Jesus' secret meditation method. This isn't about religion as you know it. This is about a practical, transformative technique that anyone can use, regardless of their faith background. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to practice it yourself. Let's begin. Part 1. The Hidden Practice. When most people think of Jesus, they think of his miracles, his parables, and his ultimate sacrifice. But there's something else woven throughout the Gospels that hardly anyone talks about. Something Jesus did consistently, almost compulsively. He withdrew. He went away. He spent time alone in prayer and meditation. The Gospel of Mark tells us that very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Luke's Gospel mentions that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Before every major decision, before every miracle, before every teaching, Jesus would disappear into the wilderness, into the mountains, into the quiet. But here's what's fascinating. He wasn't just praying in the way most of us understand prayer. He was practicing something deeper. Something that connected him directly to what he called the Father, to the divine source of all creation. The clue to understanding this practice lies in Jesus' own words. He said, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret." He wasn't talking about a physical room. He was talking about an inner sanctuary, a place within consciousness itself. This is the secret. Jesus practiced a form of contemplative meditation that involved withdrawing from the external world and entering into a deep communion with the divine presence within. Part 2. The Method Revealed. So how exactly did Jesus meditate? What was his method? By studying his teachings and practices carefully, we can reconstruct what this meditation looked like. It consists of 3 essential components: solitude, silence, and surrender. Let's break each one down. First, solitude. Jesus consistently sought physical solitude as a foundation for his practice. He would go to the mountains, the desert, the Garden of Gethsemane. Why? Because solitude removes distractions. It creates a container for deep inner work. When you're alone, you can't hide behind social interactions. You face yourself directly. But solitude isn't just physical. It's also mental. Jesus taught about letting go of anxious thoughts about tomorrow, about not worrying what you'll eat or wear. This is mental solitude. Creating space in your mind by releasing the constant stream of concerns, plans, and judgments. Second, silence. When Jesus prayed, he didn't always use many words. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he fell silent. He entered into wordless communion. This is crucial. Most prayer involves talking at God, making requests, reciting formulas. But true meditation involves listening. Being still. Creating a silence so profound that you can hear what Jesus called the still small voice. Jesus said, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness isn't passive. It's an active practice of quieting the mind's chatter until you can perceive a deeper reality. Third, surrender. This is perhaps the most important element. In Gethsemane, Jesus said, "Not my will, but yours be done." This is the ultimate act of surrender. It's releasing your ego's agenda and opening yourself to a higher wisdom. It's letting go of control and trusting in divine guidance. Surrender in meditation means you stop trying to make something happen. You stop forcing spiritual experiences. You simply open yourself, like a flower opening to the sun, and allow grace to flow through you. Part 3. The Inner Kingdom. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Jesus repeatedly spoke about the kingdom of God, but he said something most people misunderstand. He said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Not in some distant heaven. Not after you die. Within you. Right now. Accessible in this very moment. This was revolutionary teaching. Jesus was saying that divine reality, the presence of God, exists in the depths of your own consciousness. And meditation is the practice that allows you to access it. When Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom of God," he was giving a meditation instruction. He was saying, make your primary practice the exploration of this inner kingdom. Turn your attention inward. Dive deep into consciousness itself. Think about the implications of this. Most religious practice focuses on external rituals, following rules, believing correct doctrines. But Jesus was pointing to something entirely different. He was pointing to direct experience, to mystical union, to a state of consciousness where you know God not as a concept, but as a living presence within your own being. This is what the mystics throughout Christian history have understood. People like Meister Eckhart, Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross. They practiced contemplative meditation and discovered exactly what Jesus was talking about. They entered the inner kingdom and were transformed by what they found there. Part 4. The practice itself. Let me now give you the exact practice you can begin today. This is Jesus' meditation method, distilled into a simple, step-by-step process. Step 1. Create sacred space. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. This could be a room in your home, a spot in nature, anywhere you feel safe and peaceful. Sit comfortably. You don't need any special posture, just be comfortable enough that your body won't distract you. Jesus often prayed in the early morning, and there's wisdom in this. The world is quiet. Your mind is fresh. But practice whenever works for you. Consistency matters more than timing. Step 2. Enter solitude. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Begin to withdraw your attention from the external world. Imagine that you're entering into an inner room, just as Jesus instructed. This is your sacred inner space. Let go of thoughts about your day, your problems, your responsibilities. Just for this time, let them all go. If thoughts arise, don't fight them. Simply acknowledge them and let them pass like clouds across the sky. Return your attention to the present moment, to the simple fact of your own being. Step 3. Embrace silence. Now, instead of talking or asking for things, simply be silent. Rest in stillness. You might focus on your breath as an anchor. Or you might repeat a sacred word or phrase very gently. Jesus himself gave us one, Abba, which means Father, or more intimately, Papa. You can whisper this word internally, letting it connect you to the divine presence. But don't make it mechanical. Let the word be a doorway into deeper silence, not a barrier. Eventually, even the word can fall away, and you rest in pure awareness, pure presence. Step 4. Practice surrender. As you sit in silence, practice letting go. Surrender your will. Surrender your ego. Surrender your need to control or understand. Simply open yourself, like an empty vessel, and trust that divine grace will fill you. You might mentally repeat Jesus' words, "Not my will, but yours." Or simply rest in a feeling of openness and receptivity. Imagine yourself as completely transparent to divine light, allowing it to flow through you without resistance. Step 5. Listen. Now comes the most important part. Listen. Not with your ears, but with your whole being. Listen for the still small voice. Listen for guidance, for peace, for love. Don't expect dramatic experiences. Often, the divine presence comes as a subtle sense of peace, a quiet knowing, a gentle warmth in your heart. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice." This is about cultivating the ability to recognize divine guidance when it comes. It's subtle. It's gentle. It doesn't shout. It whispers. Sit in this listening silence for as long as feels right. Start with 10 or 15 minutes if you're new to meditation. Gradually extend the time as your practice deepens. Part 5. The transformation. Here's what happens when you practice this meditation consistently. Everything changes. First, you develop what Jesus called eyes to see and ears to hear. Your perception shifts. You begin to see the sacred in the ordinary. You recognize divine presence in every moment, every person, every situation. Second, you experience what Jesus promised, peace. He said, "My peace I give to you, not as the world gives." This isn't the fragile peace that depends on external circumstances. This is the deep, unshakable peace that comes from resting in divine presence. No matter what storms rage outside, you have an anchor within. Third, you discover your true identity. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." Through meditation, you realize this isn't just pretty poetry. It's literal truth. The same divine light that shone through Jesus shines through you. You're not separate from God. You're an expression of divine consciousness itself. Fourth, you become a channel for love. Jesus' primary commandment was to love. But you can't manufacture love through willpower. Love flows naturally when you're connected to its source. Through meditation, you open yourself to an infinite wellspring of divine love. And that love naturally flows through you to others. Fifth, you gain access to inner guidance. Jesus said he only did what he saw the Father doing. He lived from a place of constant connection and guidance. When you practice this meditation, you develop the same capacity. You begin to hear the inner voice that guides you toward your highest path. Part 6. The science behind it. Now, you might be wondering, is there any scientific basis for this? Or is it just mystical speculation? Actually, modern neuroscience is beginning to validate what Jesus taught 2,000 years ago. Studies on meditation show profound changes in brain structure and function. Regular meditation increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, associated with awareness and emotional regulation. It decreases activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Meditation literally rewires your brain for peace, compassion, and clarity. MRI scans show that experienced meditators have thicker gray matter in regions associated with attention, emotional processing, and self-awareness. Even more fascinating, research on contemplative prayer shows similar results to Eastern meditation practices. When people engage in the kind of silent receptive prayer that Jesus taught, they experience decreased stress hormones, improved immune function, and enhanced overall well-being. There's also emerging research on what scientists call self-transcendent experiences. These are moments when people feel connected to something larger than themselves, when the boundaries of the ego dissolve. Brain scans during these experiences show decreased activity in the part of the brain that maintains your sense of being a separate self. This is exactly what mystics have been describing for millennia. And it's what Jesus pointed to when he prayed, that they may be one, even as we are one. He was describing a state of consciousness where separation dissolves and you experience unity with the divine. Part 7. Common obstacles. Of course, this practice isn't always easy. Let me address some common obstacles you might face. Obstacle 1. A busy mind. You sit down to meditate and your mind immediately fills with thoughts, plans, worries, random memories. This is completely normal. Everyone experiences this. The key is not to fight your thoughts. Simply observe them without judgment and gently return your attention to the present moment. Think of thoughts like uninvited guests. You don't need to serve them tea. Just acknowledge them and let them pass. Obstacle 2. Doubt. You might wonder if you're doing it right, if anything is actually happening, if this is all just your imagination. Jesus addressed this directly. He said, "Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened." The key word here is persistence. Keep practicing. Trust the process. The fruits will come. Obstacle 3. Expecting dramatic experiences. Many people come to meditation expecting visions, voices, overwhelming feelings. Sometimes these happen, but more often, the transformation is subtle and gradual. It's like the parable of the mustard seed. The kingdom grows slowly, almost imperceptibly, until one day you realize everything has changed. Obstacle 4. Lack of time. This is the most common excuse. But Jesus made time for meditation even when crowds were pressing in on him, even when people desperately needed his help. He knew that his outer effectiveness depended on his inner connection. Start small. Even 5 minutes a day is valuable. Wake up a bit earlier. Use your lunch break. Make it a priority. Obstacle 5. Feeling unworthy. Some people believe they're too sinful or flawed to approach God directly. But Jesus specifically came for those who felt unworthy. He said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick." Come as you are. The divine presence doesn't require you to be perfect. It meets you exactly where you are. Part 8. Living from the center. Now, here's the crucial point. This meditation practice isn't meant to be separate from your daily life. It's meant to transform your daily life. Jesus didn't stay on the mountain. He came down and served people. He taught, healed, fed the hungry, challenged injustice. But he did all of this from a place of deep inner connection. His outer activity flowed from his inner stillness. This is the model for us. We meditate not to escape the world, but to engage with it more fully, more lovingly, more effectively. We practice entering the inner kingdom so that we can bring its qualities into the outer world. After meditation, carry that sense of presence with you. As you go about your day, remember the inner sanctuary you accessed. When you're stressed, take a moment to return to it. When you're making a decision, consult the inner wisdom you've been cultivating. When you're with other people, see them from the consciousness of love you've been dwelling in. Jesus taught about being in the world but not of it. This is what he meant. You live and work and relate in the ordinary world, but you do so from an extraordinary center. You're anchored in divine presence even as you navigate daily challenges. This is practical mysticism. This is applied spirituality. This is the kingdom of heaven invading earth through your transformed consciousness. Part 9. The Ripple Effect. When you practice this meditation consistently, something remarkable happens. You don't just change. The world around you changes. Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world." When you embody divine presence, you affect everyone you encounter. Your peace becomes contagious. Your love activates love in others. Your clarity helps others find clarity. This isn't about being perfect or holy in some religious sense. It's about being real, being present, being connected to your divine source. And that authenticity, that presence, has power. Think about the people who've most influenced you in life. Chances are, they had a quality of presence. They were fully there when they were with you. They radiated something that went beyond words. That's what we're cultivating here. As more people practice this kind of meditation, the collective consciousness shifts. We create what Jesus called the kingdom of God on earth. Not through political movements or institutional religion, but through individual transformation that spreads organically, person to person, heart to heart. This is how lasting change happens. Not from the top down, but from the inside out. You transform yourself, and that transformation ripples outward, affecting your family, your community, your world. Part 10. Your Invitation. So here we are at the end of this journey. But really, it's just the beginning. Jesus extended an invitation 2,000 years ago that remains open today. He said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This isn't about joining a religion. It's about entering a state of consciousness. It's about discovering the divine presence that dwells within you. The meditation practice I've shared today is your doorway. It's simple, but it's profound. It doesn't require special beliefs or credentials. It just requires willingness. Willingness to be still. Willingness to listen. Willingness to open yourself to a reality larger than your ego can comprehend. What would your life look like if you practiced this daily? What if you started every morning by entering the inner kingdom? What if you made connecting with divine presence your highest priority? I believe you'd discover what Jesus promised. You'd find peace that surpasses understanding. You'd access a wisdom that guides your every step. You'd experience a love that transforms everything it touches. You'd realize that you're not a separate, isolated individual struggling through life alone. You're an expression of infinite consciousness, intimately connected to the divine source of all creation. This is the secret that changed everything for Jesus. And it can change everything for you. Closing. So I want to encourage you. Start today. Find a quiet place. Close your eyes. Enter the inner room. Embrace silence. Practice surrender. Listen for the still small voice. Do this consistently, patiently, with an open heart. Don't expect instant results, but trust that something profound is happening beneath the surface. Like a seed planted in dark soil, your practice is taking root. And one day, you'll look at your life and realize that everything has blossomed. The kingdom of God is within you. Right now. In this very moment. It's not far away. It's not reserved for the especially holy. It's your birthright, your natural inheritance. And meditation is simply the practice of remembering who you truly are. Jesus showed us the way. Now it's up to us to walk the path. Before you go, I have a challenge for you. I want you to commit to this practice for the next 30 days. Just 30 days. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each morning. Enter the inner sanctuary. Practice silence, solitude, and surrender. And watch what happens. Here's what I want you to do right now. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on spiritual practices that actually work. Second, drop a comment below and tell me, are you ready to accept this 30-day challenge? Type, I'm in, if you commit to practicing this meditation daily for the next month. Third, I've created a free guided meditation audio based on Jesus' method that walks you through the entire practice step by step. You can download it completely free by clicking the link in the description below. This will make it so much easier to get started, especially if you're new to meditation. And finally, if you know someone who's searching for deeper meaning, who's stressed, anxious, or feeling disconnected from their spiritual source, share this video with them right now. Don't wait. This could be exactly what they need to hear today. You might literally change someone's life by simply clicking that share button. Remember, knowledge without action is just entertainment. I don't want you to just feel inspired for a few minutes and then forget about this. I want you to actually transform your life. So make the commitment. Download the guided meditation. Start tomorrow morning. The kingdom of God is within you, waiting to be discovered. All you have to do is be still and enter in. May you discover the peace that passes understanding. May you experience the love that never fails. May you enter the kingdom within and live from that sacred center. Until next time, be still and know.